Well, hello everyone. Sorry for the short delay. We had a couple technical difficulties. Um, Thanks for joining us. So glad you're here. I'm Dondi from FloraCraft, and we also have today Tony on chat. So any questions or any comments you want to share, let her know, and she'll be sure to answer your questions or ask me so I can answer them for you. So today we are going to make some Memorial Day arrangements. So this is our CV12. It's just a cemetery vase, and then it comes with a pit to hold it into the ground. We also are going to show you our saddle. I'm going to show you this way. So this is the CV12. It has a pick, and you just place it in, and it secures it right in the ground for you. And then we're also going to show you our saddle. And what you do with that is you can bend it right over the top of your memorial, and it'll stay secure on there for you. And then I also have a tip. If you already have your vase at the cemetery, we also have our MV8 that fits nicely inside if you want to do your own container. Also, I'm going to show you our expanding floral foam filler, and we're going to use this to secure the florals in the foam. Right. So for the cemetery vase, what I used, I found all these items at Michael's. Found these dark blue, like a mini hydrangea, I guess they are. And I used 3 of those. And then I used just 1 bush of these larger red roses, just 1 stem. And then 2 stems of these smaller red roses, just to fill in around. And these could be anything. These could be carnations. They could be whatever you'd like to use. Then these are just some little white filler flowers that I thought were real pretty. I just did 2 bushes of those. All right, and then some tools. What you'll need is the cutter, wire cutters, and then this, I guess, would be a tool. And then when you use the expanding floral foam, you're going to want to put plastic down on your surface. You're going to want to wear some rubber gloves, and you probably, to be safe, use safety glasses. All right. Your vase, cemetery vase comes pre-filled, which is nice. You can get right started decorating. So I started with these taller blue flowers, and I'm gonna have to cut that down. So if you hold your stem up to your container and figure out your height, then you'll know where you want to cut it. And I popped that one right in the center. And then the next one, I just put in a little bit shorter, so it would fill in along the front. So I'm going to cut that one a little shorter. This is going to tip over. We'll put that one in. So you're just gonna make like a long line of blue right down the center is all we're doing. This last one, a little short, so it's at the base. Goes around so I can see. That one right down tight. Now you just have a tower of blue. Adam, can you get this box off the screen?
Sandy, can you tell us why that foam is the best for these stems?
This is our XPS foam that they use to fill our cemetery vase. And the XPS foam is nice because it not only lets the flowers insert easily, but it holds them tight in place. In this particular bush, you can see that one of these roses is a little longer than all the others. So I'm gonna leave that one right on this right on this base so that I can get a little more height out of it. Right on the stem that it comes on. And I'm gonna put that right next to this blue one. I'm gonna go in a little harder because you got that base in there, but it'll slide in. And then with the red, you're kind of gonna do the same thing. You're just gonna make kind of a line of red right down next to your blue. It just kind of blocks the color. I like the colors to stand out by themselves. Need a little weight back here. I'll stand one up here, come back. You have your blue on one side, your red filling in on the other. I'll put one right here in the front. How low? There we go. So that's kind of the start of it. We're just doing a side of blue and a side of red. And now all we're using this other red and white for is just to fill in between. We'll go ahead and cut all your red flowers off, smaller roses. And we're just going to use those to fill in around the arrangement. I'm going to add some back here so that it will hold up. Now, I'm not using glue on these right now, only because I want to show you at the end how easy it is to use our expanding floral foam to secure everything. If you didn't get a chance to get the foam or the expanding foam, a regular low temp glue gun will work. Of course, with extreme temperatures, sometimes the low temp glue will let loose from the plastic, so you might have an issue. This expanding floral foam stays. The weather doesn't really bother it. All right, we're just getting a little bit of that red around as filler. Who do we have watching today, Tony?
People coming from Virginia, Miami, Illinois, Oklahoma. We have a Michigan, an Arkansas, another Virginia. And it looks like they're all creating later, but watching along now.
Nice. So what are some fun things that everyone does for the Memorial Day holiday? Anybody? You know that Memorial Day used to be called Decoration Day? I learned that today. And it was because they decorated the memorials. Ribbons and flowers. And it didn't become a federal holiday until 1971. But they've been celebrating it since 1866.
How often would you leave these out before having to come back and change them out in a place like Michigan?
Michigan, well, I mean, I think sun is like the biggest problem with flowers is the sun just bleaches them out. But I mean, I don't know that it's very often that you get to reuse an arrangement here. All I'm doing now is just going in. I didn't use all my red yet, but I just feel like I need to see where the white is going before I finish adding my red. But you're just gonna put little sprigs of white here and there and let them. How often does everyone out there change out their arrangements? They have ideas about how to make them last a little longer?
We do have someone that just joined us, so if you want to give a quick recap of everything.
Sure. So first I started with the blue and I just made like a column of the blue down the front, kind of to one side. And then I used the larger roses kind of in another column next to the blue and put them in here and there. And then I went back with these smaller, well, where are they? There they are. these little smaller roses, and all I'm doing is just kind of filling in where it needs a little more color. And then this white bush, I'm going through and filling in the rest of the way. Wherever it needs a little. They're doing arrangements at the site. The more people do wreaths. Seen a lot of wreaths on like shepherd's hooks and different. Yeah. Sometimes a leaf gets in the way and you can't poke through it. I think this is looking pretty full. Looks like they need something right here. See that little spot? All right, where's mine? And again, if you need a little extra length, you can leave that little stem that the bush comes on, and that'll give you another 3-4 inches. They are a little harder to get in there. I actually don't.
Favorite tools to snip these flowers?
Well, I am using Michael's. Um, they are, I believe they're called their diagonal cutters, 6-inch diagonal cutters, and they do a really good job. They also have it's called a combination cutter, I believe. It's just a wire cutter, but it has a combination leverage, so it cuts really easy. A little bit more. I think it's more in the $20 range, $24 range, but it's well worth it because it does make a difference on your hands when you're cutting. All right, I think it's filling in nice. I think I'm gonna stop there. And I will show you guys what I did for the bow. Yep. They're right over there. Let's see. So for the bow, all I did was measure about how much I want length. And I'll remind you that this is being recorded. So if you don't get this the first time, you could definitely go back and watch it again. So what I do is I make a loop, I bring it forward so the tail is in front. And then I pinch it there. I get that tail out of the way. I wanted to show you guys. And then you make another loop. Give it a twist. Make another loop. Give it a twist. And then it's also very pretty. All right, so it was like 3 loops or 4 loops, and then the last loop is just a small loop for the center. Okay. So Michaels also has this stem wire that works really good for securing bows because it's really thin and it'll stand up out in the weather. You're just gonna loop that wire right through the center of that bow and bring it to the back and give it a twist. You can actually just fold this wire so that it's like 4 thicknesses or several thicknesses. Make like a little stem. And you can insert that right into oh, just like that. And get your little bow. Or if you fold the ribbon in half lengthwise, you can make little pretty little tails. And then I just made a second for this one. You can leave it like that with just one set of tails. For this one, I just took another length of ribbon and added another set of tails just to give it a little more color, whichever way you would like. And I think for this purpose, because I'm going to do another arrangement, I'm going to wait to show you this at the end so we only make a mess once. So that is the cemetery vase. And like I said, to put it next to your grave site, all you need to do is put the stem inside the bottom. It fits really nice and secure, and then it just gets stuck right into the ground. So that's one idea. For this next one, I want to show you our saddle. And like I said, this one goes right over top of the headstone and it holds on securely. You can bend these, bend real easy and hold in place real nice.
At the bottom there so it doesn't scratch.
It does help. It helps secure it a little bit from scooching, and yeah, it'll help it from scratching anything. So they come flat, so they're easy to work with. Now these I found that I used for this, I found at Michael's also, of course. And I want to say, yeah, right here, water resistant, which is really cool for outdoor florals. So I used 2 of these blue hydrangea bushes and then 2 of these, um, almost look like rose leaves, just as bush. They kind of look like large rose leaves. It's just a bush of leaves. I used 2 of those. I'm gonna start out with the hydrangea. And I literally, the first two, I stuck right out the ends. Kind of like so, not that far. All right, so you're gonna cut it, we'll leave about a, say a 4-inch stem. And you're gonna angle that right out of the corner. And save all these leaves because we'll use them, we'll put some in later as filler if we need it. The other one is opposite corner. And all right. And then I just did the others. All right, so you angle another one, and we're just gonna kind of make a rounded mound. So these ones you want to stick up a little higher.
Can you use the saddle and just put new foam on it?
Um, Probably. Sure. No, we have several sheets of foam at Michael's that could be cut to size. And then it could just be secured to the bottom with glue or floral pins. So then in the front, I just did a little bit. I just did one in the center, so like there, kind of facing out towards side. And then one right next to that. You can kind of see it's kind of starting to take shape now. And one right here. I'll fill in that side. And then we'll do the same thing back here. One in the center. And one on each side of that. Pretty good. So it's just a nice mound of flowers. All right, and then to fill in around the base and help cover that foam, these bushes have the leaves that slide. So if you can slide them all up to the end, it'll make a nice thick little pick for us. And all you're gonna do is make a bunch of these and just start plugging them in around the outside edge. That's gonna fill in and cover up that foam block. Now the one on the very end, You might want to leave that a little longer and let it stick out a little bit, just to give a little more length. But all you're doing is just putting these in and letting them fill in around that base. Anybody have any Memorial Day parades they can tell us about? Your town do parades? Cat's a little quiet today.
Just watching these beautiful flowers.
Again, we'll, on this end, we'll let a little stick out. That'll give you a little more length. And we'll just continue to fill in around. And the foam is so easy to work with. They just push right in there and hold so nice. There, so that side's filled in. I'll show you that side. That's kind of what we're trying to do is we're just covering up that green foam. And our XPS foam holds up real nice outside too. And I would just leave this flat until you get to where you're going. It's just a lot easier to transport. All right.
Hang that upside down so they can see how much that foam grips those stems. It's really strong.
Yeah, yeah. Little demonstration. So a fun thing that I found online for these projects too, Michael's online, they have these cool little flags. I think you get like 5 or 6 in a bag. 5 or 6 in a bag. They're a nice little addition. We could put one like here and let it be. Or maybe out here so it can dangle a little. You can even put one on each side. Just add a little something something to it. I mean, shoot, you could do 3 if you wanted. So then for the bow for this one, I use a red wired satin. It's 2-inch, 2.5-inch red wired satin. And we're gonna do the bow the same way. So you figure maybe a 8-inch tail. And I have a pretty good size loop on this one, probably a 4 or 5 inch loop. You'll do a pinch, make another loop. And I always twist at the center. I just think that it puckers up the loops a little nicer. And just 2 loops for that one. Another piece of stem wire. And this one, I leave the stem wire right attached because then I can twist it and I can add the white. So just leave those tails on there. And the white. And I made those tails just a little bit shorter than the red. So, like so, and then the loops a little bit smaller so that you can see the red behind the white. And same way, your loops. And then you can take it and set it right in the center and pinch it, and then take one of these wires from the back and loop it right around the front and twist it again. That'll secure that white to the red. And then in the center of this one, I also added a little blue ribbon just to give it a little more color. You could do that if you'd like. I just added just the tails of the blue. I didn't make any loops, just to give it a little extra. And again, just fold these wires up to themselves and then twist them all together. And it'll make a nice strong wire pick on the back of there. And you're gonna pop it right into the foam, right in the front, just like that. Then you can cut your tails at an angle. You can cut them like the dovetail. I like the dovetail. And then it's all ready. All ready for the so let's show you.
That bow and camera. Do you have extra material to do that one more time?
Sure. Do you want to do top down so it's a little easier, Lindsay? You can see a little easier. Am I on top down?
Yeah, you should be.
So I start with the length of the tail and I bring so the tail's in the front, I loop it to the back, make about I'd say that's probably 4 inches, 5 inches, and then I pinch it. And then this tail, you can just kind of scooch over and get out of your way. And then take this side up, bring it to the center, pinch it with your thumb, and then twist. And when you twist it, it just kind of makes this pucker a little bit better. Is that good? Do you want me to do that again? I'm going to do it with the white, so I'll show you in a minute. Same way. So then I take the wire and wrap it through the center. And just give it a couple twists just to hold it. So you put white in there. And then white the same way. I just Made sure that it was a little bit shorter so you can see the red behind it. You take your loop to the back, give it a pinch, make another loop, bring it to the center, and then I always give it a twist. And then you can set this one in the center and bring just one of these wires back around and back to the back and give it a good twist, and it will hold both of those together. And then if you wanted to add the blue tails, you just do the same thing. Bring a piece of that wire again, bring it around and add in the blue. So then for the wire, I just fold it in on itself and then fold it in on itself again and then twist all this together. And that makes a nice little stem to stick into the foam arrangement. And for tails, I just do my dovetails. I always just fold them in half lengthwise and come from the corner. That's kind of an old trick. You guys probably know that one. There we go. And then you just add that to your arrangement. All right, now I'm going to show you our expanding floral foam. And this stuff is really nice because, like I said before, it's basically weatherproof. So it's not going to get hot and melt or cold and crack or any of that. It's not going to peel off the foam or off the, so it'll adhere real nice to the foam and to the stems of the florals. So the first thing you're going to do, of course, is make it really, really, really good. And cover your work surface with some plastic. If this stuff gets on anything, clothing, it really doesn't come out of. Solid materials like wood, I don't know that it would come off of, but like hard plastic, if it's wet, you can get it with like an acetone. I don't have my gloves on. You will want to use gloves with this because you do not want it on you because it's very sticky and messy. But it does do a nice job of keeping all your florals secure. The other thing that you can use this for is securing foam into a container. A lot of times it's hard if your container is tapered or you have a lip on the edge of it. A lot of times it's hard to get the foam to stay in there real good. And like I said before, the low temp glue gun a lot will peel off the plastic and it just doesn't stay here. And this stuff adheres to just about everything. You will want your safety glasses on. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to secure these florals in place. And you don't want to go crazy and hit the trigger as fast as it would go. You're just going to barely, so you'll work it so you can see down inside there. You see down inside the arrangement and you just little tiny bits And you do have to tip the can up a little. But you just add little tiny bits of this in there. And you see it in there? And it will lock all these stems right in place. So you can have wind and you can have rain and you can have all that going on, and these flowers are not going to come out of this vase. So if you get it where you can see it, you can take your extra leaves that you had from your hydrangea, trim them off, and while this is still wet, you can lay these flowers right over top of that foam, and as it dries, it will adhere it in place, and you'll never see that foam. It hides it, the expanding foam. So it is kind of a, well, you can see it's kind of a creamy, yellowy white color. So it does stand out, but just putting these leaves in there, tucking them in, covers it right up. Now, if you're doing your own vase and you're using our MV8, you can also, oh, I'm dripping. You can also use this expanding foam to adhere the foam into your vase. You can get it back out with like a saber saw or like a fine tooth saw, but it will leave a residue in your vase. So if your container is something that you want to be perfectly clean, you won't want to use this. You can get it out. It is, you can cut it when it's cured. It's just like foam. It's super lightweight, it's waterproof, and it's probably the best adhesion you're going to get in an outdoor setting. So that was as simple as that. Just spray it in where you can see the stems, and it'll lock them right in place. So same thing for this paddle. I'm just gonna go in and just kind of see where the stems are, and just go in and add a little to the base. You can peel it apart so that you can get in there a little better. Just make sure it's done dripping before you pull it back out. That's all you're gonna do. And this would work for any container that you have that you want to put foam in, that you have a hard time securing the foam in place in your container. This stuff is wonderful. And it can also be used by itself as a vase filler, so that you could actually fill a vase with just this, let it cure, and do your arrangement. Especially if it's a funny shaped arrangement that it's hard to get foam into, is a good substitute. So there, everything's all secured in. If you do get some of this on you, just make sure that you wash it off before it dries. And it will quit coming out of the end. But what's the other nice thing about our can is you can take this, and I shouldn't have taken my gloves off yet, but you can take this end and you just bend it right around. Gloves are in the way now. Bend it right around, and it has this little tab, and that keeps the air out, and you're able to use this can for, geez, I think I used my can for up to like 4 to 6 months, and I just kept looping the straw. And as long as there's not air getting to it, you can reuse it. Right.
Great, you got some nice feedback since it is hard to see the floral demos, and I think you did a lovely job.
Wow, thank you. Are there any questions for me?
No, it was a quiet chat.
No. Everyone's resting up for the Memorial Day weekend. The big arrangements they have to make. All right, everyone. I guess I think this is it for me. CD12, our cemetery saddle, and our MV8. All you will need to decorate for your loved ones. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.